and welcome to the College Guy Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Weiss, and today I'm rejoined by my co-hosts from last time, Daniel Engelgau and Thomas Brown. Today our podcast is going to focus on how the NFC teams did in year 2015.
And it was Cam-tastic.
All right, on to the NFC. And we're going to start with the best division in football, the NFC East. You have to be a really good team to win this division, especially with that team that comes in second every year. All right, the Dallas Cowboys finished 4-12. I mean, offensive. Besides Tony Romo getting hurt, there's not much you can there's not many backup quarterbacks that can get you to the playoffs once you lose your franchise quarterback. As much as I hate the Cowboys, Romo is one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL and has been for years, so hard to get over that.
He admits it.
I've always admitted it.
Yeah, okay. I love Tony Romo. I am a huge Tony Romo fan. I want Tony Romo to win the Super Bowl. No offense to Ryan, but I'm a Romo lover. And I like Des Bryant. I like Des Bryant. The Greg Hardy pickup was
stupid ass X. Go up to X.
No, Ryan. We have to be fair.
He's the great leader.
We have to be fair.
Beat woman in Walmart parking lots and then delete the tapes. Allegedly, I am not making that statement. I'm just saying that's the reports.
The Greg Hardy pickup was a mistake in my opinion.
I saw today that they weren't going to re-sign him, but
yeah, he's just more of a nuisance than he was a help. He may have been a good player at one time, but what he did was
he's a piece of crap.
awful. Yeah,
nothing else to say about it. He's just a horrible person.
Us on college sports do not condone domestic violence, and Greg Hardy's a piece of crap. But the Cowboys and the playoff hunt next year, possible Super Bowl run. Just want to say that.
Romo's one hit away from being done. Man.
If Romo's healthy, offensive line's great. Best offensive line in the league, in my opinion.
And they got him 4 wins this year.
Yeah.
Right, Thomas.
How's that DeMarco Murray pickup though?
That's in 2 more teams.
Obviously, losing Murray hurt the Cowboys. There's not really much to say. Romo got hurt. They went 4-12 and they're 3-1 with Romo. Their only loss being to Carolina. I think Dallas, all the pieces are right there. It's just a bad year. Got hurt. They really didn't have any identity at quarterback after Romo was gone. Whedon and Castle, neither of them really stepped up and got it done.
Kellen Moore.
Kellen Moore. Losing 7 straight is just one of those years for Dallas. There's nothing. I really have nothing else to say about that.
Superstar quarterback, that's what's going to happen. All right, the next team with one of the most overrated superstar quarterbacks ever, Eli Manning. New York Giants. They went 6-10 like they always do for the past couple of years. It seems like at least. That team's got besides Manning, who's I think he's vastly overrated, but he's still obviously good enough to win the Super Bowl. But that Manning and Beckham, and beside them, and maybe you make a case for maybe Mukamara and Rogers Cromartie. But other than that, those are like the only 2 real players they have on that team. That team has no talent. Jerry Reese, I think he needs to go. As much as I hate Beckham, though, that dude makes some insane catches. I think his best catch is the Monday night game against the Dolphins where he got that toe tapped down. I think that's the best catch of his career so far. I was amazed by that. But other than that, they hired Coughlin. I think it was time for Coughlin to go just because, he's old and getting up there. But I think a stupid thing is to fire him and then keep the whole staff. So you're telling me Coughlin was the only problem? I just don't know. The Giants go 6-10 next year, but I know it's not divisions. I just hate the Giants more than any other team. But I'm trying to be fair and balanced.
Giants, that defense is just horrendous. Eli Manning, the OBJ.
In NFL history this year.
It was, I'm looking at the scores, giving up 35 points to the Eagles, 49 to the Vikings, 38 to the Panthers, 52 to the Saints. It's bad.
I had Breeze of Fantasy that game.
they got to put all their draft stock. You got to just plug the leaks as much as you can. Obviously, it's not going to get solved in 1 year. Eli Manning, pretty good year, 4,400 yards, 35 touchdowns. Kind of reminds me again. It's like kind of reminds me of Jacksonville. I think on offense they've got the pieces. I think that defense, it's just got to get fixed, and that's all there really is to say about that.
Don't compare Blake Bortles to Eli Manning. No,
Don't you want Blake Bortles to win 2 Super Bowls?
I want him to win 5.
Yeah, touche.
Yeah. No, I'm indifferent against the Giants. I don't like Odell Beckham. I believe he's overrated. And Josh Norman proved that in the Carolina game. And he showed Odell's real colors, which Odell makes spectacular catches, but he shrinks in big-time moments, in my opinion. But
That's a fair point.
the defense, awful. God-awful. Like, I don't even think I can name you a good player on that Giants defense. Besides for Jason Pierre-Paul, and he has only 9 fingers.
He's not even that good anymore. He hasn't been good since 2011.
7 or 8 fingers. He's missing fingers. No, as long as they have Eli Manning, there are always talks of playoff hunt, maybe even Super Bowl contention. I don't think so. I think the Giants' reign and run is over. I think Eli will fade out soon after a new quarterback in the next couple years.
All right.
My favorite team
What
right
can
here.
I say about the next team?
Fair, Ryan.
Ryan, do you want us to not even say
Mr.
anything
Fire.
and just let you rant?
You guys can have your little 2 cents, but don't talk very long. This is gonna be a lot of me. Just one of the most painful years I can remember. I don't think it's been a more painful Eagles year. I really thought this was the year. I had them going 12-4. I had them making a Super Bowl run. I had them winning the whole thing. I was a big believer in Sam Bradford. I still am. You look at his second half of the year, the quarterback ran near 100. It got the offense moving. The teams can't get out of their own ways. Fumbles and drops, all of the drops. Just 9 minutes worth of drops.
Drops everywhere.
I've never seen the Eagles have drop problems before this year. I remember watching Sam Bradford tape in the offseason, and I'm like, oh my God, it's all drops, and he's not going to have that problem in Philadelphia. Well, I was very wrong. Maybe. Again, we still have a lot of nice talent there. I think Chip could have stayed. He could have gone. I think it's good that he's gone, but I wouldn't have been against him staying. I'd like to see him try to clean up his mess. The Marco thing, I've never seen a city so excited to get a fullback on their roster. Ryan Matthews played well until he injured his groin. Darren Sproles was Darren Sproles, even though he had drop problems this year too. Jordan Matthews and Zach Ertz really came on the end, like Zach Ertz always does. The defense has a bunch of talent, maybe the best front four in the NFL, especially once you move to 4-3 with Schwartz now with Vinny Curry. That I've never seen a defensive end get held on every single play, but Vinny Curry does. Fletcher Cox, is the second best interior lineman in the NFL besides J.J. Watt. Eric Rowe played really well this year, especially when he got forced into duty. He played well. Maxwell, I don't think was as bad as people were saying, but I won't tell you that he played well. I was amazed by how well Jenkins and Thurman played this year. I don't think Thurman's coming back though. I think it's gonna be too much money, but I would love to see him back. Those two had great chemistry together. But Kiko Alonso, he was just awful. Just awful. There's no other word for that, for how that man played. Besides, he had that interception against Atlanta, and you're like, oh my God, this is the beginning of a great relationship. Hopefully, it was just he had the problem with the knee again this year. Hopefully, he gets it all fixed up, gets an a real offseason, it'll be better. Jordan Hicks, that guy I'm so excited about the Jordan Hicks era and what it could potentially be in Philadelphia. He played amazing. He tore his pec at the end of that Dallas game, tackling Cole Beasley with like 2 minutes left. It's going to be great to have him back. The run defense really suffered when he left. Felt like Benny Logan got tired and there was no Jordan Hicks to clean it up. Michael Kendricks, that guy was so good in 2014, and he did nothing but miss tackles this year. He can still cover, just guy can't make any tackles. So D'Amico Ryan, it's time for him to go. He's a great locker room guy, but you just can't have it anymore. Offensive line play was bad. Jason Kelsey, one of the best centers in the league, he was just awful. Maybe the worst center in the league this year. I know Daniel would like to say no to that with Wisniewski, but Kelsey was bad. Just unnecessary holds when the play wasn't even near him. Guard play was awful. Tobin, Barbary, Gardner, whoever, was not good. Jason Peters just going downhill. His body's giving up on him. He's not. I wouldn't be opposed to him leaving. Lane Johnson played well. That's the only really shining light there. I don't know what else much to say without getting too more in-depth and railing. So, any quick thing before you guys want to move on?
One thing, Fletcher Cox definitely is pretty underrated, and when I say that, I mean when you're talking about national attention for defensive linemen, most of the attention goes to Watt and recently Khalil Mack and Von Miller and DeMarcus Ware. Fletcher Cox deserves it. Fletcher Cox is the best player on that defense.
Oh, also, what Ryan went on, I had DeMarco Murray in my fantasy team. That was dreadful.
They just didn't produce. That was it.
I frankly think the Chip Kelly fire was a good move. I don't like his style of offense at all, in my opinion. I think the Eagles will bounce back this year, and they'll be in contention to win the division.
Yeah, I hope they bring Bradford back, but, you know.
And Sam Bradford's a good quarterback.
All right, on to the Bears. Not much came in last. Cutler played better, had less picks.
We didn't talk about the Skins.
Oh, sorry. You're all right. They have a piece of crap wide receiver that I despise, although he definitely helped them when he came back healthy this year, took the top off the defense. Kirk Cousins played a lot better than I thought he would, especially after how he started the year. He really cut down the interceptions. Defense was still bad. I think really the running game was worse. Like it started out well, Jones and Morse. The only difference was pretty much just Kirk Cousins. He came on at the end of the year.
Yeah, in my opinion, the tail of the Redskins this year, it's just they sucked the least in the NFC East. Kirk Cousins, like the dude, wanted him to succeed. Jordan Reed had a breakout year. I'd say Jordan Reed's definitely a top 10 tight end, maybe even top 5. Yeah, that's all I really have to say. Not much.
When it comes to Kirk Cousins, gotta say, you like that.
I will like that. They give him $20 million a year because he's not going to get to that.
No, I think Kirk Cousins. They're young. I think he's going to be a good quarterback. Ryan may disagree, but I think the Redskins are going to be in the hunt to win the division. I think it'll be between the Cowboys, the Redskins, and the Eagles.
And the Giants. All the teams are in the division.
No, not the Giants.
It'll be one of those 4 teams.
Deshaun Jackson.
No, what's going to happen?
Had a good year.
We're going to go back to the original divisions, and Arizona will come back and win the East like they would earlier. Okay, I jumped the gun earlier, but now back to the Bears. Not much to say. There's no talent in that defense. Kyle Fuller's nice. He's okay. Eddie Goldman played pretty well for a rookie this year. Cutler cut down interceptions. I'm not going to say I'm a Cutler fan, but I'm not a Cutler hater like a lot of people. Forte's probably gone. Langford played okay. And Jeffrey can't stay healthy, but when he's healthy, he plays pretty well.
Yeah, Langford, he impressed me. He came in, he filled in well. Again, not much to say. Cutler, being a Denver fan, not really a big fan of Cutler. Had a better year. Granted, it wasn't spectacular. Chicago's just a mess. Fix the defense, get Cutler some help. Alshon Jeffrey kind of took a step back this year. Losing Brandon Marshall hurt, obviously.
Well, they chose to get rid of him. They traded him. They didn't freaking cut him, right? They didn't let him.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying not having him there. That's really all I have to say.
I like Jay Cutler, unlike Thomas. Good quarterback. I think he had a decent year this year. John Fox will fix his team, and the Bears may shock a couple people this upcoming year. They fix a couple holes on defense. I believe they'll shock some people.
All right, team that finished third in the North, Detroit Lions, who looked even worse like a dumpster fire this year, and they fired Joe Lombardi, and Jim Bob Cooter got that team going in the right direction. Cooter saved Jim Caldwell's job. The defensive line really fell off this year, but that's what happens when you lose your 2 best players on that. Missing Levy, he's one of the maybe the best outside linebacker in the NFL. That really hurt them. Their secondary play did not play well. Really, no one on the Lions played well for the first 8 weeks of the season. And they finally started showing what they could have been with Cooter, especially. Stafford kind of came alive.
That's really Detroit year in and year out. It's just what could have been. What I will say, they've got to get Megatron and Stafford some help. Running back play, I know Amir Abdullah's young, less than 600 yards. Secondary's got to get better. Lions, don't see him going anywhere. I see him going around 500 again next year. They got to show me something. Division's too good right now. Chicago's kind of a toss-up. Green Bay's Green Bay, and Minnesota's a toss-up. So we'll see. We'll see about Detroit.
Detroit, exactly where Detroit is. Mediocre. I don't see them doing anything, to be honest. I believe Calvin Johnson may retire this year. I think he will.
Even if he doesn't, you got to rework his contract to something. He's got a $24 million cap hit and $12 million in dead cap. They got to figure something out.
Their defense is horrible. Rasheed Mathis,
your boy.
That man has been. He was my corner, but he is too old to be a starting corner in the league, or even a third corner. That defense needs some help. I believe Stafford is an interception machine. I don't think Amir Abdullah looked good in the beginning of the season. I don't think he's the answer.
Already stopped losing him, and then when Cooter started, he played well.
The Lions need a lot of help. I don't see them going worse before getting better, to be honest.
I don't think they're too far away. A team that proved they're not far away at all, and they're closer than many. The Minnesota Vikings. Heartbreaking playoff loss. Well, we all know that. We're talking about the regular season. Teddy Bridgewater played better last year without Peterson than he did this year with him. Peterson was Peterson this year. He still proved that he has it. Didn't show the burst sometimes, but still runs hard, still does what he needs to do. Bridgewater regressed a little. I don't know how else to put it. He could have been better, but I don't think it's lost for him. I still think he's a good quarterback. I still think he'll be the best quarterback out of that class. Mike Wallace totally disappeared. I don't know why I'd trade for him. His contract looks like a waste. People thought Charlie Johnson would be good this year. He didn't. That defense played really well. Harrison Smith, maybe the best safety in the NFL. Linval Joseph is dominant on that defensive line. Everson Griffin played well. I still think they need another pass rusher. Chad Greenway may retire, but he's still got a little left. Anthony Barr is really well too. That defense has a lot of nice young pieces. That could be a wrecking ball for a while.
Yeah, Minnesota, beginning of the year, started off 2-2, losing at the 49ers. Kind of choked against Denver. I didn't really expect anything out of them. They surprised me. They won the division. Only really awful loss was to Seattle, losing by 31 points. But then they turned it around and they still lost in the postseason. But they really showed improvement. I think that's the story of Minnesota is just improvement. Agree 100% with what you said about that defense, Ryan. A lot of young players. Future's bright in Minnesota.
Playoff loss was heartbreaking. Even as someone that isn't a Minnesota fan, that has to hurt. I believe it's only up for Minnesota. I do think they have a good young team. Teddy Bridgewater is the answer. They need to get some wide receivers. Teddy needs some weapons. And their defense need a little help at linebacker. Peterson's a beast. Showed no matter what. He's beating age right now. Peterson may have lost a step, but remember, he also didn't play for a year. So I think Minnesota will win the division next year, and they'll be in the hunt. I just look out for Minnesota, and don't kill your fault. And everyone misses a kick every now and then.
Well, Rudolph's a pretty good target. He just needs to stay healthy. I like Rudolph as a tight end. But I don't think Minnesota can win the division next year because the next team has this guy called Aaron Rodgers. And I don't know if you heard of him, but he's pretty good.
He's okay.
Never heard of him. He's out.
Yeah, I think Chet Henning would be a better option for them.
Me too. Blaine Gabbert, maybe.
Yeah, but Green Bay was weird this year, man. First 6 games, they looked like they could be Super Bowl champs, and then all fell apart. The last 10 games, they really should have gone two, and they really should not have won those 4 games. They should have only won 3. That Hail Mary, they blind botched that one. Uh, Everyone at the beginning of the year said Nelson, they wouldn't miss Nelson that much. They really did, though. James Jones can't get any separation. After Devontae Adams had those really nice playoffs last year, he was bad this year. He was just horrible.
Devontae Adams.
Richard Rodgers showed a little tight end. That defense needs help up the middle. There's Mike Daniels playing out of his mind, but they still need middle linebackers and a nose tackle. That team still. I'll never count the team out of it when they have that quarterback.
Yeah, the postseason game against Arizona just sums up Green Bay's season. They look good. They have spurts of greatness, and then they just fell apart.
You look at that. There's a screenshot of that playoff game. When it's the 4th and 20, you have Rodgers rolling away like 8 yards deep in the end zone, and they looked at him like this game went to overtime. Like I couldn't believe that.
It was just they looked great. Kind of similar to Cincinnati. They looked like a juggernaut. Lost 4 out of 5. Got manhandled by Denver. Then they lost to Panthers, Lions, and then they had a bad game against the Bears. One thing that's interesting to note, Eddie Lacy definitely had a step back. Right now,
a step back. Oh man.
Like a fadeaway jumper? Like
No.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. I
Problem.
screw up my words. Really, Green Bay, they just need help. They need more playmakers on offense. Guys got to step up. Lose Nelson. James Jones got to get that separation. I can see him totally winning the division next year, but Green Bay's. It's just hard to predict right now. I'd say a similar year next year that they had this past year. I don't see him going to the Super Bowl. I don't see him going anywhere next year. Anywhere that's important in the big picture.
I still stand by my Vikings are going to win the division. I will stand by that. I believe.
Again, that's not this podcast.
Yeah. Green Bay, the loss of Nelson, it hurt. It showed. When you have Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback, of course, you're going to be in Super Bowl contention and talks. I believe they just lost to a better team in Arizona. Eddie Lacy, he's a good running back if he keeps his weight down. And just loss of Nelson. Defense, Clay Matthews had another good year, but they need more help on defense. They need better linebackers at the moment. They need a good solid interior line. And Green Bay will be right back in Super Bowl talks. If they can fix these small little holes, Green Bay could possibly be in the Super Bowl.
I agree. Next team, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We finished last in the NFC South. We're 6-6, and looked like they were going to be maybe had a chance at the second wild card this year, but good old Lovie Smith running his prehistoric defense that for some reason he didn't realize people had caught on to yet. Jameis looked really good. I like the way Jameis looks. He's going to be top 5 quarterback in this league one day. They need talent on defense. They need pass rushers. They need offensive linemen. They need a lot of things, but good news is with Jameis, they're not that far away. That in any year could be the year.
Yeah, the one word that describes Tampa Bay's season this past year was definitely inconsistency. Jameis started off a little, he's just a rookie, but broke 4,000 yards, looked really good. They've got a trio on that offense with Winston and Doug Martin and Mike Evans. One thing that's interesting to note about Mike Evans, broke 1,200 yards, only had 3 touchdowns, but he had a lot of drops this year. I think he had a better rookie season last year. Tampa Bay, just win the games that you're supposed to win. I'm looking at the schedule right now. Shouldn't have lost to the Texans. Shouldn't have lost to the Redskins.
They just got the Eagles. They were up 24-0 in that Redskins game.
They just got to finish games. They got to win consistently. And Tampa Bay in this division, really hard to say. Improvements, but it's not going to happen in 1 year. Future is bright, though.
Tampa Bay, Jameis Winston, better year than I expected. I'm not really a Jameis Winston fan, to be honest. I wasn't going into this year, and I wasn't.
Says the guy wearing a Florida hoodie.
And I wasn't when he was at Florida State. The
other guy's wearing a Florida hat.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Jameis had a good year. Him and Mike Evans, they're going to do some good things in this league. They're a young team. They do need help on defense. They need a lot of help on defense. The firing of Lovie Smith was smart. The draft better to begin with, and I don't see them going very far, but they'll be about the same. They'll be in possible playoff wild card hunt or top 15 draft pick.
All right, the next team, kind of the same thing as Tampa Bay. Not much to talk about. The normal stuff we saw coming. New Orleans Saints. Drew Brees kind of took a step back this year. He's starting to regress. It's much more noticeable, but he's still a quarterback that can win any games. Put the ball in his hand, you can trust him in winning the game. Ingram has been a better quarterback for him. Better running back for him. C.J. Spiller, totally disappointing. I thought he'd have a huge year. I thought Sean Payton would find a way to use him. Looks like just a waste of money right now. Brandon Cooks is showing signs. Willie Snead's okay. I'd break down my defense, but they're really just bad. Nothing to say but bad. Brandon Brown is horrible. The whole thing is horrible.
See, I disagree with you about Drew Brees, Ryan. He almost threw for 5,000 yards. I don't really think he took a step back. I just think it's that defense. They remind me of the Giants. Started off horrible. Started off 1-4. I'm looking at them giving up 47 points to the Redskins, 41 to the Panthers, 35 to the Lions. It's awful. The secondary is awful. The defense is an absolute mess.
I expected better from the Saints this year with the combo of Drew Brees and Sean Payton. I expected them to. Actually, I thought they would win the division this year, but obviously the showing of Cam and the Panthers proved they won't win the division again. But with Drew Brees, you always don't know if they build around him defense-wise. Defensively, they need help. They need a lot of help. They need better front seven, back four. They just need a new defense. Just take everyone, draft a whole new defense. They're old. It's hard to.
It's a bad deal. That's why I couldn't do that. I just said they were bad. There's nothing else to say but bad.
It's hard to single out one good area on the Saints defense. So instead of just trying to find the one average player, you just take the entire defense and scratch it.
It's so bad.
Yeah, with Drew Brees as your quarterback, having good years like always, the Saints are always in playoff contention and always in talks for playoffs. But that defense needs to get fixed. After all, defense wins championships.
Yep. Unlike you guys, I had their record right on those. I had them going 7-9. Atlanta Falcons started out hot. Looked like Dan Quinn was greatest hire. Matt Ryan played pretty bad this year. Normally he's very consistent. I think he's a top 10 quarterback, but not this year. Devontae Freeman, I think, had everyone fooled with the way he started all his touchdowns in fantasy. I'm not saying he's bad by any means, but I don't think he's as good as what people were saying. That defense needs playmakers. I like Paul Warlow a little bit as a linebacker, but I don't think he's going to be there long. I don't think he can be an NFL star for very long. Desmond Trufant is the only guy that you could be a starter on any other team, and we should argue that. They need playmakers, but I feel like it's definitely plausible for them. I feel like guys want to play for Dan Quinn, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, it was a tale of two stretches for the Falcons. Starting off 6-1, they looked great. Devontae Freeman by midseason was a leading rusher in the NFL. Matt Ryan, like you said, fell off. Freeman fell off. The whole team really fell off. I think the absolute worst moment was getting shut out 38-0 at Carolina. Kind of turned it around at the end. They finished 2-1. They beat the Panthers. It was too late. Julio Jones is a monster. It's so tough. NFC South's a tough division to pick. Atlanta.
So you don't think 38-0 was their best part of the season?
I think it was the absolute word, like the bottom.
Okay, I thought I was making sure.
I like that 38-0 game because if I had Cam on my fantasy team, but that.
I'm just saying because it capped off a 6-game losing streak.
Yeah, I know, Thomas. I was being sarcastic. Daniel, what are your thoughts?
Oh, what happened, Atlanta? I mean, they were what happened? There were talks of you guys, oh, they're going to win the division. They're going to win the Super Bowl.
Best team in the NFL.
Yeah, best team in the NFL. Write everyone off. It's going to be Atlanta Super Bowl. No, it was awful. How do you go, 6-0, and then just lay an
6-1.
egg? Well, initially 6-0.
5-0.
Yeah, 5-0. And then just lay an egg. Like, it was just bad. I've never seen a team crash and burn like that. Just they need help on defense. Like, their defense was bad. Julio Jones is always going to be a star. Devontae Freeman, he's going to be. I think you need to cut Roddy White. That's for sure. Cut Roddy White. He's not a help to the team anymore. And there was infighting in the locker room coming out of this season.
Yeah,
But
not a preseason for the Falcons at all.
no.
The team I was most wrong on, and I will admit it, I had them going 6-10. Carolina Panthers, Super Bowl favorites right now. I just thought with that offensive line, they're going into the year looked horrible. Remmers played pretty well for him. Khalil's back to being normal. Not Matt Khalil, Ryan Khalil. Excuse me. I thought the lack of weapons would kill them. I've always been on Cam's side. There's a lot of Cam haters out there. I always thought he was a good quarterback, but I didn't think he was good enough to put them on his back and make it 15-1. I didn't see Norman becoming the best corner in the NFL. I knew Kuechly and Davis were this good. Charles Johnson, they got Lutulele and Short, but yeah, I was dead wrong on this team.
Carolina Panthers, team that I said would make the playoffs. I had them at 11-5. I slept on them really hard. I slept on them really hard all season. Didn't think they'd beat the Seahawks. Didn't think they'd beat the Eagles or the Packers. Thought they'd lose their first game in the playoffs. And now, like you said, Ryan, they're the Super Bowl favorite. Interior defensive line is really nasty for Carolina. Rushing attack is great. Cam's having the year of his life. Definitely can see him winning the Super Bowl.
All right, both those points. I slept on the Panthers coming into this year. I really didn't see them making. I could see them making the playoffs. Cam has the talent, but the loss of Kelvin Benjamin, it was like, wow, who is he going to throw?
My buddy Kelvin Benjamin.
Yeah, who is he going to throw to? Like Ted Ginn?
Well, he did have
Your
Olsen.
boy Ted Ginn.
My boy Ted Ginn.
The man who keeps your Dolphins fandom.
Yeah, they had Greg Olsen, but you need more than just a tight end. That defense, but that defense stepped up. Like Josh Norman. I hope he leaves Carolina and comes to Jacksonville. We have the money, Josh. We have the money. They need to. He's a hot-blooded free agent, and he'll get swooped up.
Yeah,
But I have Cam's good, and
Yeah.
I think for another podcast.
It'll be a fun matchup to see how he does against Denver in the Super Bowl. But like you said in the podcast. All right, on to the NFC West and the Los Angeles Rams. But back when they were we're gonna talk about when they were St. Louis Rams. Wow, was Nick Foles bad? I liked Nick Foles in Philadelphia. I have a Nick Foles T-shirt after the 27-2 year. I liked the trade at the time because I thought Bradford better quarterback, but gosh, I did not think Foles would be that bad. The defense is really good. Donald, third best interior lineman in the NFL. That defensive line is nasty. Alec Ogletree got put on IR, but he's really good. Yeah, they got a good defense. I would like to see them. Roberson, their corner, played well. Jenkins, free agent. I'd like to see them shore up their defensive backfield a little more, maybe add a piece or two. But that team needs an offensive lineman and a quarterback. There's no ways around it.
I'm not surprised St. Louis went 7-9, third place. That's where I had them preseason. I was shocked at how bad Foles was. Foles was arguably the worst quarterback in the league this year.
I don't think it was even arguably. I think he was the worst quarterback in the NFL this year.
Pass rush is still really nasty. I did like Todd Gurley at running back. That's something they could build around. They just gotta Foles has got to play better. Receiving core's got to step up. St. Louis, I don't know. They're not going to go anywhere with Seattle and Arizona. It's not bright.
To start off, I was on the St. Louis bandwagon. I thought the Foles trade, it was going to work out perfectly for them. He was going to lead them to the playoffs. That defense is just too good. Just too good. That line is just a monster. Just devastating. But obviously Foles sucked just flat out in a league that was quarterbacked by Matt Shaw, Brandon Weeden, Ryan Mallett, Johnny Manziel, and Blaine Gabbert at one time. Nick Foles was the worst quarterback in the league.
Yeah.
And that's sad.
Luke McCann got a couple snaps. Who else got some snaps?
Yeah.
Jimmy Clausen. Jimmy Clausen was better than Nick Foles. Oh.
But Tim Tebow isn't in the league. But that's besides the point.
Not this podcast. Not this podcast.
That's besides.
We could do an entire podcast on Tebow.
Nope, not Tebow. We're on 49ers. We're on to the 49ers. On to the 49ers. On San Francisco. On to San Francisco.
Okay, we're going.
I'm on the Blaine Gabbert train.
San Francisco. Yeah, San Fran. I thought Kaepernick would be better than he was this year. I didn't think he was going to be leading to the playoffs or anything, but I didn't think he'd be that bad. Defense is missing a lot of pieces. You have Navarro Bowman, that's about it. Everyone else from those dominant defenses are gone pretty much. They need a whole Jimmy Ward I like, but they need a whole new secondary pretty much. Fleming Wah, they have a few pieces that can maybe work out for him. Carlos Hyde looked at the beginning of the year, but in that foot caught up to him, he stopped playing. You guys know this. I've always the biggest man crush on Anquan Bolden, but time for him to hang it up, I think. But 49ers could be in some trouble here for a while, especially with their new head coach.
Like I totally understand your love for Anquan Bolden. I thought I like him too. If it's time for him to hang it up, at least get out of San Fran. There's nothing to say. Blaine Gabbert was their leading passer.
Oh, I didn't mean Bolden. I didn't mean Bolden was done now. I just mean like it's obviously he's not the man that he was in Baltimore, making everyone look like a freaking woman. Or sorry, that's not PC. Make everyone look like a freaking pansy.
Rushing and tackle's awful. Defense is awful. San Fran is going to be in the bottom of the cellar for a long time.
Yeah, there's not much good to say about them. Daniel?
Blaine Gabbert, future. That's all I got to say. I really think Blaine Gabbert will be Chip Kelly's star piece next year.
All right, Blaine Gabbert for the win.
He runs Blaine Gabbert ran the offense in college. Blaine Gabbert is Kelly's piece. You don't need Kaepernick. Gabbert is.
Let's just leave it at that. That's perfect. Gabbert for the win.
Gabbert for the win.
All right, Seattle Seahawks, one of the teams I despise the most in the NFL. Not because of I hate this. I just don't like them. They start out slow. It seems like they do every year, but they caught on again like every year at the end of the season. Wilson for the first time. I always thought he's average quarterback, but the end of the year this year he just came on and showed me. I was like, wow. It's like if this dude's here, the Seahawks should. He's definitely worth that contract. I've never been a big fan of Baldwin, but when Wilson's playing that well, Baldwin's going to look like that. Defense, defense is kind of a problem. Besides, the way you beat the Seahawks is by throwing on them. Besides Sherman and Thomas, no one can cover anyone. They had Kerry Williams back there for half the year. But Lynch looks like he's gone. Thomas Rawls look pretty good though, but. Yeah, Seahawks, I got to say, it's disappointing year. They're trying to win Super Bowl every year, so disappointing.
Yeah, Seattle starting off 2-4. Didn't really know how to feel about them. Like you said, Ryan, Russell Wilson balled out this year. Definitely, in my opinion, a top 5 quarterback. Doug Baldwin, Jermaine Kerr stepped up. They impressed me. Lynch is done. The defense, I don't think the defense was that bad or even average.
I'm not saying they're bad. I'm saying their secondary was bad.
Yeah. It's just they had such a high standard the last couple seasons that
I think it was Seattle. I'm not saying that they were Saints or Giants bad. I'm just saying bad for Seattle. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I get what you're saying. I think taking a step back was inevitable. Right now, Seattle's just got to keep the pieces together. Win the division. I really liked them in the playoffs. I said they'd beat Carolina. They looked really good closing. Week 17 destroyed Arizona in Arizona, 36-6. I was like, Seattle's got this. Seattle's going to win the NFC. And they didn't. Disappointing is definitely the word for their season.
I actually had Seattle not doing that well this year, to be honest. I knew this was going to be the year they wouldn't reach the Super Bowl. Russell Wilson had a better year than I expected. I, like Ryan, thought Russell Wilson isn't a great quarterback. The loss of Lynch really showed he can be a clutch quarterback and can be a top-flight quarterback. Lynch is gone, and that is probably for good. Their defense, Sherman and Earl Thomas and Cam Chancellor were the best, like normal. They need help at corner. They need a number 2 and a number 3. Their pass rush is good, but problem is you have all these all-stars. You don't have enough money to keep them. You can look at the problem with Cam Chancellor in the beginning of the year, the holdout. So,
there it goes.
There we go.
I don't see Seattle being that top-flight team because of money.
Yeah, it's definitely an issue when you have all that young talent.
Yeah.
All right, our last and final team on this recap, the Arizona Cardinals, who I thought were going to win the Super Bowl this year after watching them throughout the year. Carson Palmer played really well. Probably will finish third in the MVP race. That defense was lights out. Patrick Peterson looked amazing after his battle with diabetes last year. The diabetes. They can use some help up the middle with linebacker and the defensive line. Pass rush is definitely they really only have pressure blitzing, but they blitz a lot. Bruce Arians is top 3 coach in the NFL. Wish the Eagles would have hired him back in 2013, but stuff happens. That team. I think that Palmer injury against the Eagles on the Sunday night game when Barwin ran into him, that had to be something, because I don't think Palmer's like that mentally wired that he'll just craps himself in the playoffs. I think that finger was a bigger issue than they let on.
Arizona, like you said, Ryan, I too had them winning the Super Bowl. They're on a 9-game winning streak, approaching week 17 before they got just drubbed by Seattle. Beat the Packers in a really, really good, thrilling game. And then the Panthers, 6 turnovers by Palmer. Injury. I mean, that's all there really is to say. All the pieces are there. They just didn't crap the bed that night. And that's all there is to say.
I as well had the Cardinals going to win the Super Bowl, which is 0 for 3 for all of us. But
listen to our opinion. We're smart.
Yeah. I feel the loss of the the former Honey Badger, Tyrann Mathieu, really affected that team. He's a beast as a safety. He's really good. Him, Patrick Peterson, they make a great tandem. They need, like Ryan said, they need a pass rush. Bruce Arians is a masterful coach. Palmer, great year for Palmer. I'm a huge Carson Palmer fan. I'm also a huge Larry Fitzgerald fan. And they'll be in the contention, and the return of Chris Johnson.
Yeah, it was nice to see him actually do something.
We were one game away from Chris Johnson in the Super Bowl.
We were, which I think we'll get there next year. So.
No, that's Eagles all day.
Oh yeah, Eagles and Jags.
Jacksonville, Philly next year, 2017 Super Bowl, Super Bowl 51. That
sounds like a plan to me. All right, guys. Well, that should about do it for our 2015 NFL recap. Thank you. It was one of the more disappointing years in the NFL. I think the action was good, but hey, still NFL football, still the best sport on earth. Any final points before we go?
No.
Daniel?
I
didn't hear you. I zoned out my computer zoned out. What?
Repeat. Any final points before we go on 2015 season?
Yeah, too much protection, my opinion. A lot of flags that shouldn't have been flags. I'm a defensive guy.
You know it's only going to get worse, right?
I do, but it's football, and it's great to see football, and I'm going to miss it because now I have to watch soccer.
Yeah, having to watch NBA when your favorite team is the Suns isn't very fun.
I have to wait till the playoffs and hope the Mavericks get in so I have someone to root for.
Mavericks getting in, but that's for our NBA podcast, which will be a little later. All right, that should about do it for our 2015 season year in review for the NFC. Hope you liked the podcast. If you did, like, subscribe, review, all that good stuff. Follow us on Twitter, and hopefully listen again to our future podcast.